Hello, welcome to the CIRS Healing Collective expert guest video series. I'm Jenny Johnson, the host and facilitator of the CIRS Healing Collective, which has been a resource for aspiring CIRS overcomers to share and connect from around the world since 2020. I'm a shoemaker proficiency partner and CIRS coach, and most importantly, an overcomer myself. What you're about to see is a 10-minute excerpt from a 90-minute group discussion that members of the CIRS Healing Collective got to have live with this expert guest. If you would like to see the full 90-minute replay, come on over to the CIRS Healing Collective. We have a robust video library from the past 5 or 6 years of so many expert guests. Better yet, you'll be able to join our future monthly live discussions with experts to come. We'd love to have you. If I signed up for your program because I feel like this might be going on for me, I identify as having this over-reactivity perhaps, and I've done my best to get out of exposure. I'm working with my doctor, but I'm still more reactive than I'd like to be. I do feel like I'm living in more fear than I'd like to be, and I think I may be maybe even causing some harm with those fearful associations. I signed up for your program, and what would I expect? What would a daily regimen look like if we signed up for your program and started doing limbic system retraining?
Yeah. So I'll talk about it at a conceptual level, and then we'll go to the practical. So let's extend our analogy. I always love extending analogies and seeing how far we can push it. So imagine what our program is. Imagine you've now got that weekly meeting with your generals of your army and navy. Now they're panicked. So they come into the palace and they're like, Jenny, Queen Jenny, you've got to give us all the resources. We're nearly losing the battle. So that first hour of the program is relaxing the nervous system. So you've literally got to get these generals to calm the hell down. Right? So it's like, okay, I get what you're saying. Let's all just breathe. Let's meditate. Let's just calm everything down. Because if we don't, then we're going to be in that constant fight or flight panic response. Yeah. So that's the first concept. The second concept is retraining the brain. The second R is retraining the brain. So that's when we're saying to these generals, you've done a fantastic job at defending the kingdom. Thank you for doing that. But now you can stand down because the war is over. Yeah. Of course, we still want to be vigilant. But just because a small group of men are coming over the hill does not mean you need to be at panic stations and over-trigger this inflammatory defensive response. Stand down. Yeah, so that's retraining the brain through repetition, because they won't believe you the first time. They need to hear it again and again and again over months.
Yeah.
And the third R, re-engaging with joy, is now you allow, the army and navy to have or your entire kingdom to have a celebration that, right, the war is over, we've won, we've survived. Yeah. And in that way, you consolidate the parasympathetic system that we are now in standby mode. We are no longer in emergency mode. Because why would the kingdom be having a celebration if there was still a threat?
Right.
And so those are the 3 R's of the program. Now, practice works in terms of the program itself. People can sign up for a free trial. And if they take the full program, the way it works is that it's on an app as well. So first of all, super easy to use because we've got the app infrastructure, so you can use it out and about. And it's split into 15 video sessions. So there are 15 video sessions that you watch over 4 levels. And inside those video sessions, they're very short. They're only 10 minutes long or so, the individual modules of the video session. So you might have 3 or 4 modules in each side within each video session. And you watch the videos, and step by step, I lead you on a journey of how to do these 3 R's of the program. And then there are audio exercises as well. So you have 20 or 30 audio exercises that people can listen to. It's a very comprehensive program, but you don't have to do the whole program. You just do the pieces that are really working for you after sampling. And as you work through the program, there are weekly webinars with myself. So I describe how to do every process, every step. So we hold your hand through the process. We have trained coaches who can support people one-on-one. And a new, feature that has been a game changer. We only introduced this a few months ago, but it's an absolute game changer. We know that people are very isolated with these conditions, and it can be quite depressing to feel this. So we started a new thing called daily Gupta, which is we have the relaxation of the nervous system and the brain retraining every day live on Zoom with one of our expert coaches. And so many people just love this. It's their lifeline that, yeah, I'm feeling really awful today. I don't know how to deal with this. Okay, I'll come onto a call with 200 or 300 other people, and I get someone that leads me through this. I don't even need to think about it. And people where it's taken them months to heal, within weeks and months, they are now healing because they now feel that daily commitment and motivation to retrain their brain. And that has been an absolute game changer. So people work through the program, and we call ourselves a 6-month program. Now, why do we do that? Now, many people heal and recover sooner, but we can't become complacent, because just like digging those channels, if you dig a new channel, and then you stop digging, the water can still go down the left-hand channel, the old loose path that was there before. And for those of you who are interested in geography, that often happens, that old river channels and riverbeds, even after millions of years, they can still see the indentations in the ground, even though the river had dried up, centuries or a millennia ago.
Right.
And so therefore, we don't want people to become complacent. We want them to continue. And yes, ongoing stress can be a factor. So then we do a lot of what we call parts work. That's the latter half of the program. That's optional. Where we encourage people to really look at their stress reactions, look at even their adverse childhood experiences, look at the effects of that, and make sure they are able to moderate their stress levels for the rest of their lives. Now, that's optional, but a lot of people find that keeps them well. So we want people to get well and stay well.
Wow, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was actually a question that I had. Is I would imagine as people are going through this, if they didn't know already that they had maybe some previous traumas that had not yet been healed or dealt with, they're going to come up. And will your program not only help us to become less reactive to maybe environmental triggers, but maybe even recognize and identify and have tools to work with other trauma, PTSD of childhood events or other issues that arise during the program?
Yeah, so this is a really important connection that we've made, which is that why that people who have adverse childhood experiences, they are 3 to 4 times more likely to get a chronic condition in their adult lives. Now, isn't that a fascinating and awful statistic, actually? And the reason is your Army and Navy, they don't care if they are defending against an emotional threat or a physiological threat or a biological threat. Whatever they are, they impact on survival. This is the point, right? And so when our survival defense systems become primed during our childhood to be hyper defensive, so if we've experienced, and I hope, this is not triggering for anyone, but, whether it be anywhere along the scale from neglect right through to full on abuse, and we, trauma with a small t, trauma with a big T, we can be anywhere along that scale. Wherever we are along that scale, that can impact on the defensiveness of our immune system and nervous system. And they don't differentiate between mental, emotional, physiological, biological threats, right? You go to a hospital, there's a separate immunology department over here and a separate physiology department over here. These are not separate systems in the body. We are one organism, one coordinated response. Yeah. And so that means that as we get older, our systems are more primed to become over-defensive. We're more likely to get these hyper-inflammatory diseases. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, when we are able to retrain our brains out of these defensive responses, we want to make sure that we don't get any new defensive responses. Right. So being able to regulate our nervous systems continually for the rest of our lives. A lot of our patients say it was that latter half of the program that was a whole transformation. This isn't just healing yourself from a chronic condition. It goes on to then become something that makes you happier, have more energy for the rest of your life, and prevents hopefully the formation of new diseases later in life.
Oh, wow.
Reduce the risk of future disease.
Yeah, so beautifully said. Wow. So this is really powerful. And what I'm hearing you say is that there are different levels. If someone would say, okay, I want to try this program, there's the app that has kind of the self-paced or the DIY tools, all of these pre-recorded settings. And if you go through one video at a time and just kind of follow the day-to-day instructions, that can be an option for some people. For others, they may opt to get a coach. They say, well, I need more personalized assistance. I need some motivation. I have a lot of questions. I need more support. So they could hire a coach if they wanted to level up their Gupta program experience. But then there's also this, what you're calling Gupta size.
Daily Gupta size.
Yeah, daily Gupta size. And so maybe they're doing the DIY stuff, but they really would love live guided sessions and connection with other people. And you and I both know, Ashok, that one thing that we can do to pull ourselves into a parasympathetic state is to enhance our connections with others. And even if it's on Zoom, when we feel like we're not alone and we're seeing other faces and we're hearing other stories, we know that we're not alone.